Hello, ladies and gentlemen, crypto deep divers. Welcome back to Weekly Crypto. Today, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. So, there's an interesting article from Ugly Old Gold. He talked about how to achieve the same results of a professional Bitcoin trader without taking the inherent risk. So, before we get into that, just to remind everybody that you can earn EOS and Stellar Lumen in Coinbase. You can check it out. Also, Ontology, they have some giveaway, ONG token. So join the Telegram group, send a message, then you can qualify. And before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out the upcoming airdrop, giveaway, or token swap. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. And actually, there's some giveaway. I will, from one of the projects in EOS. I will talk about that in my next video. So today, the fear and greed index is like 65. I feel like this indicator is like 12 hours behind because like last time when it was at all-time high and then it got dumped to like around 12,000 or 10,000, sideways, the indicator is still at 90 something. So I don't think this indicator is like real time. It's probably lagging behind by maybe 8 to 12 hours. And I also mentioned that at all-time high from like 90 something to 95 is at all-time high. Remember last week, I think Wednesday, Bitcoin was at 14,000. I mentioned that based on historical data, this should not be more than a week. So exactly what happened is it doesn't last more than a week. It got dumped after that. So I think this indicator is a little bit lagging behind, maybe 8 hours lagging behind. So just don't rely on one thing. In terms of the short and long position for big finance, you can see 20K long position, 10K in short position. And this is a big gap. So I'm not surprised they will continue to dump to liquidate the long position. Well, I could be wrong too. You never know. It's basically up to the whale how they play the game. And don't forget the pump from the 14,000. I suspect the exchange, they use Tether they print Tether to pump the price. I'm just guessing. Because based on the volume, I remember looking at that for the pump, from 10K pump to 12, and then pump to 13, and then pump to 14. All the volume is from Binance, USDT from the Tether, and then after Bitcoin pump to a certain level, people from the retail side, the Coinbase, the pair, the BTC USD pair from Coinbase, it got go up again. That is from retail, and then it got pumped all the way to 14,000. So just be careful out there. You never know what's going to happen. I think this early pump probably from a few handful of whales to pump the price. You never know. In terms of the Google trend, people searching Bitcoin has been declining. And of course, back on 26, on 27, Wednesday, Thursday, people are very interested when Bitcoin's at 14,000. They are not interested right now. Bitcoin is back to 10K, right? And this is just human psychology. It's very interesting, and I mentioned earlier, Bitcoin in my previous video, people are not interested in Bitcoin until they get to the all-time high. Has to be past the all-time high from last time, which is 20K. And in terms of the Google trend, if you're talking about right now, it's just showing a little bit interest. Of course, it's not at all-time high back in December or November 2017. Yep. So, but if you see something like that, you probably want to sell, right? And in terms of the big finance, big bank long and short position, oh, you know what? It's the first time they are insane, because some of the time they are not insane. Right now, both exchange in terms of the long position 61 and 65. Sometimes they are not together the same. Sometimes they are short more, and right now they're insane actually. And long position is 62% total, 37. Ethereum is 80 to 20, so it's nothing new for Ethereum. So let's talk about that article. How can you get the same results as the professional Bitcoin trader without taking the inherent risk? So this article published on April 2018, last year, from Ugly Old Gold. So he's basically is a former gold bug. So he basically probably a gold trader and a self-taught economist, and he first heard about Bitcoin is at the crisis of the Cyprus banking back in 2013, 2014, I believe. Remember, also WikiLeaks at the time, some of the bank, froze the WikiLeaks bank account, right? So WikiLeaks has to use Bitcoin. And the Cyprus banking, the confiscation is basically if you have deposit in Cyprus, for example, you have 20,000, they give you a haircut. Instead of getting back 20,000, you can only get 15,000 or 10,000. I don't know the details, but they did have a haircut for those the people who deposit money in the Cyprus bank. I think a lot of people is from overseas to deposit bank there is from, I think, a lot of wealthy Russians or something like that. And let's see. And he was back in 2013. He looked at the chart and everything. He saw a huge head and shoulder pattern developing. So he was very excited. He could not buy enough fast. He could not buy enough and fast enough, basically. So he rushed to open a Coinbase account. Just basically newbies, just like everybody, they open a Coinbase account. At the very beginning, you cannot use your bank account, right? You have to wait almost a week or even a month to get the ACH bank account to go through. So at the very beginning, you have to use your credit card, and also they have a limit on, I think they have a limit, daily limit, how much you can buy. I think you can only buy like $500 at the very beginning. It's insane. It's a very minimal amount you can buy. And basically, he bought the first 10 Bitcoin purchase using cash advance on a credit card. That's true too, because I can't wait a month to buy Bitcoin, right? If you open a bank account, open an account in Coinbase, you probably wait 2 to 3 weeks before that you get approved to send money over from your banking account to the Coinbase account. So he basically used the cash advance to buy the first 10 Bitcoin, which is very wise decision at the time, because back in 2013, I think probably Bitcoin is only $800 or something like that. And also, he has a rule not to give out investment advice, and this was an exception. And basically, he was hooked and recommend to all the family, friends, business associates to buy 10 Bitcoin and simply sock them away, forget about them for 10 years, buy more like a saving program, invest 1,000 with the potential of $1 million gains. And of course, he also sent a frictional amount of Bitcoin, 0.25, 0.1, or 0.01 Bitcoin just to encourage friends and family and supplier to get started. Of course, I mean, people are not interested, but this is a common story for all the early adopters in the crypto world. And they're very excited about cryptocurrency. They want to encourage others to join, but a lot of people saying this is a scam. And of course, a lot of people don't listen, right? They only listen when Bitcoin get to 20,000. This is very typical, the herd mentality. So this is like human psychology, unfortunately. So only one of his sons make a small purchase of Bitcoin. The other son, he simply make a small gift, and in one case, purchase a motorcycle with Bitcoin. But all purchase a home with, of course, a heavy mortgage. I mean, the thing is, I think right now we have an easy money policy. It's better to get a mortgage rather than to use Bitcoin to buy a house. I don't think it's a wise decision. But not a financial advisor. Use your due diligence. I mean, if you can afford it. But right now is not a good time to buy a house anyway. Right now it's all buffed up because of the quantitative easing, printing money since 2008. All the asset has been popping up. Real estate, stock market, you name it. And so right now may not be a good time to buy a house, actually. It's a very good time to sell. It's a seller's market. And I think in some part of the California, the price is starting to decline. So I don't know if they top out already, or I could be wrong as well. So don't forget, we have a very long stretch of the bull market cycle for the stock market. Usually, every 7 years, the stretch is very long stretch, because like 7 years is 7 years is the max for the bull market. Right now it's more than 10 years, right? Since 2008 is the financial crisis, 2009. Right now it's almost 10 years. The stock market has been going up and up and up. So because of the easy money policy, quantitative easing, all this funny money, printing money flow to the asset like real estate and stock market. So let's see. And So of course, going against the trend is not an easy thing to do. So he met a man from Argentina at the Latin American Bitcoin conference and proudly told him his son has sold his condo in 2016 and rent a small apartment in order to buy Bitcoin, and now he can purchase 10 to 20 condo. So that's the fair timing is also very important. He sold his condo in 2016 and then he buy the Bitcoin in 2016, probably at the time it's 1,000 or something like that, probably 1,000 or 2,000 for Bitcoin. And if he sold all the Bitcoin at 20,000 or sold majority of the Bitcoin at 20,000, of course he can afford 10 to 20,000, 10 to 20 condo. So timing is also very important as well. And my suppliers were another matter, and then he begged the contractor to accept Bitcoin. Only a few did accept Bitcoin. And all of the contractors sold all the Bitcoin, but his accountant sold out a small gain. And he basically completely forgotten he had paid the accountant 1,000 Bitcoin. No, not 1,000 Bitcoin. It's 1,000 USD of Bitcoin, which invoice with 4.5 Bitcoin, with instruction not to sell the Bitcoin until he got the call this past October. And of course, the accountant, the accountant say, thank you so much for making me take Bitcoin and tell me not to sell it. I follow your advice. And again, thank you so much. And I just paid tax on the biggest income of my life. And my accountant invoice was less than half of what it was in 2013. So at the time, 2013, probably Bitcoin worth $800. Right now, well, it's like 10,000, right? So 4.5 Bitcoin is like, how much is it? This is like inflation. It's a very protect against inflation. It's a very deflationary. Bitcoin is a very deflationary cryptocurrency. And if you hold cash or US dollar, you probably lose the purchasing power because of inflation and also the quantitative easing. If you put money in your bank, you basically do not receive much interest, right? Almost zero interest. And a lot of times, if you don't maintain your minimum balance, they're going to charge you like $20 or I don't know, per month or something like that. And it looks like that we have to pay to the bank to deposit the money instead of they give you interest. This is a very interesting environment right now. And also the $20 Bitcoin gave him now worth 1,800. So, and let's see. So as a successful trader, the one thing he know is he don't know where the market is going, and for some reason, few people understand that, and people are like watching the internet, saying that hey, this is as a magical guru who can forecast the Bitcoin market, and also you have a whole bunch of like chat group or Telegram group, and they give out advice, and I think it's better to tune out those stuff. I think it's just look at things, look at the chart, and also look at a little bit about the market sentiment. I think it's sufficient rather than join those Telegram group because people can be hyped up to do something, right? So he's saying that I really cannot blame the chat group participant because they simply emanate the delusional drive by the YouTuber who foolishly claim such knowledge. And he also saying that no idea if Bitcoin is going to be maybe 1,005 or 30,000 in 2018 or both. He doesn't know anything. And he wrote this article back in April 2018. And basically he is saying that and limit the amount of risk taken on any given trade or equity swing to no more than 5% of your hodling. So because you got to be very careful because this is very volatile. Cryptocurrency is very volatile. He's also mentioned about that how important it is to have the ability to grow out of a bad trade with a loss and a smile on your face. If you do not have a smile of contentment when you take a loss, you are over trading, pure and simple. That is very true too. You have to have risk management. And 95% of the trading participant in the Bitcoin market should not be there. And he's saying that, don't get me wrong. And he said, I love you, we love you, but then without repeated failure, he and other professionals could not eat your lunch. Basically, he profit from your loss. I think he is one of the, in BitMEX, he's one of the best trader over there. I'm not sure. especially in a highly leveraged derivative world like in Big Macs. This is a professional market. If you don't know what you're doing, it's best to stay away. And so unlike a fiat currency, like for example in a bank or Cyprus Bank, you got haircut. Bitcoin is unconfiscatable because you put it in your treasure or in your ledger wallet. You are your own bank, so nobody can take it away. And also he talked about the 5% and the sound money transition. He's talking about so he basically get into Bitcoin and Bitcoin alone and can be very difficult because 95% of the information on Bitcoin crypto space are scam and millions are spent to basically lead you into this scam because a lot of ICO or IEO, and there's a lot of projects, and then you put money into it. They give you like inflated, unrealistic promises. This is the next blockchain, and even in Tron, they're telling you this is the next Internet 3.0, right? But if you look at what they're doing, they're just marketing scheme. They didn't really develop Internet 3.0. They just get your money and playing with it. So and also Justin Sun spent like 4 million just to lunch with Warren Buffett. So Warren Buffett will just laugh at it, saying because you have no substance, you're just like marketing. I mean, you are not building anything for the project. If you spend that 4 million into just have a lunch with Warren Buffett, may as well you should spend it in your project. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. And he's talked about let's see. He also talked about those ICO and altcoin are promoted better than Bitcoin. I think the thing is, if you look at the historical data, 90% of all this project is failed. And if you go to CoinMarketCap, you go back in history, 10 years ago, all these coins already disappeared, and only Bitcoin still here. Probably Ripple and Litecoin is here, and what else is here? Ethereum is still here for now, but you never know. So it's always have something, a new project, people get hype and put in the money in the ICO and lose money. And of course, those 95% are scam, and those people who invest in those projects, they got scammed, and then the people who profit from them is basically the founders of the project and also the promoter in YouTube as well. So this is so unfortunate. People lose a lot of money in 2017 because of that. Anyway. So historically, 80 to 90% of retracement from the high. Remember, back in 2013, is 1,300, and then you have a bear market in 2015. It goes below. It goes below 200, and so there's a coming perfect storm is coming. Basically, there will be collapse in the crypto space. He referred to probably the altcoin, and because there's a whole bunch of so that is very interesting. I mean, we'll see. So maybe there's a lot of people saying that the perfect storm of the scam, there will be collapse, and then we'll wash out all this ICO scam, wash out all this IEO, then you can have a blue one. So this has been talking about, but we never know. So basically, the method is the power of Bitcoin dollar cost averaging. So dollar cost averaging is basically you buy the asset at the low, and by hodling, your result will match and even outperform the most seasonal trader. And if you have a full-time job, you basically don't have time to do trading. So I think it's the best method to just buy at the low, buy at the dips, and then you just hodl on. And this, I think, so based on this table, you can see that this is the table. The investment, they start buying Bitcoin at 500, 1,000, 1,500. That is back in 2014. And he buy it every month on the 15th, right? And then this is since 2014, 2015. So at certain price, 2014, I think is at the peak, is 800, something like that. And then it go downhill. And then 2015 is the bear market. He got some Bitcoin, 2.2 Bitcoin is $200. Oh, that's a good deal. And then he got the majority at a cheap price. You can see like 300, 1.3, 1.4, 2.3 is around 200 to 300 bucks. So it keep on accumulating from 2014 to 2015, 2016. Those remember that during that time is the bear market cycle. Is like so 200, 300, 400, 300, 300. So 1.1, and then the price go back up to 600. He scaled down a little bit, 0.7, 0.7. And 2017 is 1,000, is 0.3, 0.4. So keep on accumulating, the price keep going up, he keep on accumulating just tiny amount, and the total and then the total amount investment that they have made is 33,000. At the end, it worth about 474,000. The average cost is 645. So this is the results based on averaging 500 per month from December 2014 peak. So you put in 33,000 total amount since 2014, and you get 474,000 at the average Bitcoin price of 645. It's not bad. It's not a bad investment, right? It's pretty good actually. And this is the results from December 2017. Start accumulating Bitcoin from December and then January 2018 up to currently right now. So he accumulated point something like 0.02 at the peak 70,000, 0.03 13,000, 0.04 10,000, 8,000, 0.0, and then 0.1. He start accumulating. The total investment is 9,500, and the average price is around 6,000. So, and right now the value worth about 14,000, and total Bitcoin he holds 1.54 Bitcoin. So this is only just probably 1.5 years of accumulation, 1.54 Bitcoin. And this one is like since 2014 is almost four or 5 years, 51 Bitcoin. Oh, that's pretty cool. So this is interesting. So I think the basically it's dollar cost averaging, buying at every single dip and buying at the low. When people don't want to buy, you go and buy. So just like the financial collapse of the housing market back in 2008, at the time nobody want to buy a house, then it's a good time to buy a house. But right now everybody want to buy a house, don't go and buy a house because it's not a good timing. So let me know what you think about this dollar cost averaging of Bitcoin and what's his perspective regarding Bitcoin. He get in 2013, which is good. If you get in 2013 of Bitcoin and hodling, you're probably a millionaire. You don't have to work. And I don't know about Bitcoin until probably 2017. So it's a different scenario, different timing. But this is pretty interesting. But long run, I'm pretty bullish. So you can see the power of dollar cost averaging, and also the timing. If you hold it for a very long time, and then this is a deflationary asset, not inflationary, because we only have 21 million Bitcoin, and also with halving coming up May next year, there will be less and less Bitcoin reward to the miner, and eventually all this Bitcoin will finish mining. Then it will be more expensive. This is just basically basic economics 101, supply and demand. So just don't forget about the day-to-day activity. Just buy at the dip or whatever. So to me right now, we'll see how it goes. Right now the long position has more than short. They will dump, but I could be wrong. Not a financial advice. Use your due diligence. Let me know what you think about this using dollar cost averaging instead of just doing day-to-day activity, because if there's too much emotion, you're going to lose money. Comment below if you find this video helpful. Smash the like, subscribe, also share with your friends. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out the upcoming airdrop or giveaway. Also, you can follow me on Twitter as well. And if you have already subscribed, make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out the upcoming airdrop or token swap. And also, make sure you comment. I usually try to respond to you very soon, but sometimes I got too busy. It's a long holiday weekend coming up, right? And all right, so remember, crypto deep divers, we the people take control of our money. Stay wise, stay safe. Peace. I'm not a financial advisor. Investing in ICO or cryptocurrency has inherent risk. Please use due diligence.